of talking to your lovely daughter. You
Yeah.
got to be proud of her.
Well, I am proud of her. She's my daughter, based off of some hotly contested DNA tests and court things, which she's still appealing, by the way. But if she becomes a big deal one day, I'm going to be that father.
Right.
Gets a check or something, maybe.
Right. It's always in today's environment. It is so difficult for young people to get past all of the crap that is shoved in their face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of distractions. Yeah.
And to just say no, or to maintain a course that is not, and a lot of that has to do with the company that they keep.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. We got 3 great kids, all very focused and driven, and the distractions are out there. They got to get past it. As a libertarian, I think you got to expose them to them. I'm not a big fan of shielding them from the life, because once they get out in life, it's there. Kids will get shielded. So I think you got to expose them to the good and bad. And once you see parts of my family, at family reunions, you kind of decide what you don't want to be, in addition to what you do want to be. So it's fun to do it that way.
One of the things about private schools, and I know that I'm wandering on you a little bit. One of the things about private schools that is, I think, a minus, is it doesn't expose children to what world will be.
Right.
That's
true.
It's nice,
right?
Insulated, but out there, at some point in time, you're going to have to mix socially.
You got to toughen it up, and I've been very thematic about that. My high school was pretty tough. We had one of the few high schools with an obituary column in the high school paper, so it was pretty tough. As a parent, you want to shield your kids from that. But there's a tendency as a parent to really, make them everything you're not. Even maybe I'm relatively successful in some ways, and then you make your kids not successful by shielding them from the hard knocks of life. So you try to get them out there and let them experience, let them determine on their own. You don't want to raise a raging liberal who's a limousine liberal, who's never worked, never seen really the derivation of money. They've only seen the presence of money and privilege. And they tend to gravitate toward the liberal side of the equation because they're guilty. They know they've had a privileged upbringing. So I think, take them to the Walmart in Carrollton, Georgia. Take them, you make them work summer jobs. My son worked construction and things like that. You've got to make them understand life. Otherwise, they're going to be really not what you want them to be.
Right. When you were last on, the news had just broken about NASA's new directive from President Hussein Obama. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't necessarily to put a man on Mars or the moon or the Milky Way or anything else. It was to enhance relations with the Muslims. Mm-hmm. Do we fall off the edge somewhere?
Everything's political, right? You even take a science organization and turn it into a political organization. Look, my view is we put a man on the moon. Our next goal should be to put a man on Elena Kagan, Supreme Court nominee. If we can put a man on her, then you got something.
Oh, God, no, oh, help me. So my eyebrows are wilting. I love it.
That should be their goal. But no, Obama, the administration, they basically make everything about politics. And if they don't do it through directive, they do it through implication and inference. Okay? That's what I want to see them do. You need to do a John F. Kennedy speech. We will, by the end of this decade, put a man on Elena Kagan.
Speaking of that, oh man, yeah, I love you. I do. I can't help it. Tiger, the Tigress.
Smooth transition.
Yes, I think it's a great segue.
That's why you're the best.
The Tigress has left the Tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a little light in the pocket, I think.
Yeah, the rumors was $750 million. I don't think that's the case. He hasn't made that sort of money. Over the years, but it's not really a divorce that he's buying. He's buying silence, I think, in this deal. The president of an athlete like he, to make money the way he can, is entirely dependent on his reputation, as is everyone's, and he understands that. So he's going to pay this woman a lot of money and to be very quiet about it and move on and try to make the next phase of his life work for him. So
I hope he's doing better with his sex life than he is his golf game.
Well, he's hired a new instructor.
Bogey.
Yeah, he's not playing very well.
Yeah, no, he's staying in the rough most of the time, I think.
He has a new golf instructor. I just hope the new golf instructor can teach him how to delete messages on his cell phone. Delete text messages.
What?
He's got. He's driving the ball in the rough, and he really shouldn't be driving while texting.
Right.
But it'll be a long road back for Tiger. I mean, he's a great athlete, a very strong guy. I mean, his dad was kind of that way. There's a lot of distractions that you and I don't have, I guess, in his defense. When you're traveling every week and you're a superstar and women are coming up, it takes a pretty special person to not do some of the things that you're not supposed to do. Having said that, he was pretty intrepid. Picking up a Waffle House or IHOP waitress and going back to the trailer with her. And in this day and age of cell phone cameras, security cameras everywhere, you're not invisible anymore. Right. And privacy is something that's fleeting in America right now. And it troubles me a little bit. But, if you're a superstar, you sign up for that, and you got to know what you're doing.
Well, when you speak of anonymity and privacy, it is amazing to me from time to time what Americans are willing to surrender under the guise of safety.
Sure. And it happened with Bush with the Patriot Act.
Right.
The Patriot Act, same way Obama's trying to push his cap and tax agenda off this oil spill, which he's using as an opportunity to push an unrelated but agenda-driven idea. Bush troubled me with the Patriot Act in terms of the wiretaps and things that he was able to do. It hasn't proven that it's really helped us necessarily, but anytime you give up your freedoms and your privileges over a crisis, if you will, like Rahm Emanuel says, don't
waste one.
You don't waste one. And Bush did the same thing. He had America scared to death. Every time you'd ask, George Bush about the swelling deficits, he'd go, well, is that Obama? Is that Osama bin Laden over there? He would always, terrorists, and I think he scared America a little much. That troubled me about the way that administration operated. They tend to scare Americans into big spending, big government under his compassionate conservative agenda.
I stayed with him until I saw the video of him and Sheikh Ahmed holding hands walking around the ranch in Texas.
They should have got a room, huh?
He just shouldn't. He just shouldn't.
There's protocol that's unusual to you and me. The Queen Mother's here in New York right now. You got a curtsy and
holding hands
things.
is pretty universal, though, Ron. Don't you think? Please.
I hate to be too provincial, but you're right.
Doesn't it say something?
Well, he's an older guy. I don't know, maybe so. Right, maybe he should make oil $8 a barrel, please. Don't kill me. But he knew it. I guess he knew what he was doing. His family's been friendly with the oil families of the Mideast for a long, long time. But that doesn't trouble me as much. Nor does Obama bowing to these people. It's traditions.
That's because I'm just a little to the right.
Yeah, I know. I'm a libertarian. So, I understand conventions, and we probably do to be more open toward other cultures. We tend to be very provincial in America, and if Obama theoretically was for something, instead of apologizing for us all the time, I think there is a sense of we can negotiate better with other countries from a sense of openness. The trouble is he hasn't capitalized on it.
I'm sick and tired of us being the welfare daddy for the world.
Well, you send money and they like you. As I always say, a duck's interest in you is entirely based on how much bread you got in your hand. And that's the way these other countries are. Their interest in us doesn't matter that much. They don't really like us. I don't care they like us, as long as they don't attack us.
Right.
Let's defend our borders, bring our troops home, make our country strong, and be a place where they cannot attack. And if they do attack, we at least got the money, because we haven't spent all our money on social programs and welfare, to be able to defend ourselves.
Well, I think about them about the same way I think about people on welfare. If they're not mentally or physically handicapped, then they need to get off of it and go to work. And if they can't do that, then they don't need to get it. You can carry someone so long that their leg muscles atrophy and they can't walk anymore.
True. If you need help today, if you want help today, you're going to need help tomorrow. And and as far as America goes, if you want to. You want to either buy American or learn to speak Chinese. We're going to lose a lot of market share. And I got news for you. Americans are making better cars now. The J.D. Power, the GM models are doing really well in J.D. Power. We're finally making a very good product. Hopefully there'll be a time in which our manufacturing sector will come back. The problem is it will not come back as long as Obama is emboldening unions. He continues to want to pay a select few of people $35, $40 an hour, because they're unions and they vote for him, and the rest of the economy, they don't care what happens to that. So he protects the unions, he doesn't help protect jobs, and that's why the unemployment is so bad.
When we come back, we'll ask where the Russians are coming from. Ron Hart.